Well, good morning, everybody. Uh, First off, let me answer a question I've been asked a few times: is where have you been for the past few months? Uh, Unfortunately, I had a small injury that has sidelined me for about 3 months now, and ended up having surgery and hope to be back on the water within 2 to 3 weeks. I think I'm going to be released to full activity in about 2 weeks. Sorry, no fishing videos, but you can't feel worse about it than I possibly can, because I do not like sitting around the house. It's just not what I like to do. Anyway, I ran into a friend the other day, and I had taken him fishing a year or so ago in one of my spots up off of Blackwater River, and he had recently tried to locate that spot because we caught a bunch of fish that day. He asked how had I managed to run directly to that spot and know how to go directly into it. He was in the front of the boat, unfortunately, and he could not see what I was doing. Fortunately, I have a GPS on my fishfinder, and over the years I've collected quite a few waypoints, and I've also added quite a few waypoints to my GPS of spots that I fish personally and have discovered over 50 or 60 years of fishing in this area. So today I thought I would give you a lesson on how to use Google Earth to find potentially good fishing spots and then map them to the GPS so that you can find them. I can understand my friend's frustration because in the area where he's fishing, you have to stay probably a mile or so off the area that you want to fish because of shallow water, and you just have to run along and everything looks the same. I'm sure a lot of you already know how to do this, but in case you don't, just stay tuned and watch the video and maybe learn something. Let me get on my laptop over here and pull up Google Earth, show you how I find potential good fishing areas and how I discover the latitude and longitude of that area using Google Earth, and then using those data points to map it in my GPS so that I can find it in the future without spending a lot of time searching.
I've got Google Earth open to the Pensacola area. Downtown Pensacola is in this area right here. And as you can see, we've got a lot of water that you can fish in around Pensacola. Most of my videos are in the Big Lagoon area, and Big Lagoon stretches to this area right here all the way to the pass. Now that's a distance of about 7 miles, and that is Pensacola Pass right there. What I like to use Google Earth for is to find new fishing areas, and I'm going to show you how I would look for an area and then map it to my GPS so that I can find it fairly easy. This area over here is called Blackwater Bay, and I fish this bay a lot in the cooler months, and I have to launch way up here. Sometimes I launch in this area right here in Baghdad, and other times I launch on this basing right here. There's a park there with a launch, and then there's a launch in Milton. And you have to run down this the Blackwater River to get out to Blackwater Bay. And if you're looking at this, there are a lot of good areas over here to fish. And if you look at this real closely, you can see the definition of dark water. Let me brighten this up a little bit. Dark water, shallow water. So if you're running down the bay, you have to stay in this area here. There are markers all along here, and you stay inside those markers. Okay, supposedly I wanted to go down and fish this little basin right here. Now, if you're running along the bay, you're coming down this way, and you're looking over here it'll be to my left. it's very difficult to pinpoint the entrance to any of these. But what I like to do is establish waypoints and load them into my GPS. And then when I get, say, to this point right here, off this point right here, I'll pull up that waypoint and run directly to it. In the case of fishing this catfish basin here, I would establish two waypoints. One right along here that I would run down the bay to, and then one right at the mouth so that I could take a left turn and run directly to it, very slowly, working my way through these shallows here. You'll notice in Google Earth down at the bottom here, Google Earth gives you the exact latitude and longitude numbers, degrees, minutes, seconds, north and west. So what I'm going to do is place my cursor right about there and jot down those numbers. And in this instance is 30 degrees, 31 minutes, 59.23 seconds north, and 87 degrees, 1 minute, and 9.65 seconds west. Okay. And then I'm going to do a second one. I'm going to place my cursor right there and jot down those. 30, 31, 49.39 north, and 87, 00, 10.77 west. All right, I've got my waypoints. So I can close my Google Earth map right now, and I'll open my software for establishing waypoints. This is the software that came with my GPS unit, which is a Hummingbird unit. And you can see I have many waypoints loaded into my system. You can get these online, and I'll show you a site. This site, Florida Go Fishing, provides GPS numbers, and I've narrowed it down to the Escambia County area. And you can see there's many of these. And depending on your system, most systems will take a GPX file download, and you can download this and then load it up to your GPS unit. When I downloaded this, I had a larger boat, and I was able to go offshore to a lot of these reefs that are mentioned. But I no longer can go out there into my small boat, so I primarily use the ones that I have created myself, all these that are in the bay and other areas around Pensacola. Depending on your software, you can enter waypoints in various ways, and mine is defaulting to this format right here, but I'm going to change it in my preferences so that I can enter the Google data points, and that was degrees, minutes, seconds. Okay, I'm going to enter a new waypoint. And I'm going to label it Catfish 1 and Catfish 2 and enter the latitude and longitude that I wrote down earlier when I was on Google Earth. The first one was 30 degrees, 31 minutes, and 59.23 seconds, which I'll just have to put in 59. And the longitude, for the longitude in the program, it defaults to east, so I have to change that to the west because we are in the Western Hemisphere. And it was 87, oops, you have to enter it with a 0 in front of it, 087, 01, and 9.65, which I'm going to round off to 10. All right, and that's the first one. Let's enter the second one. And the second in the north was 30, 31, and 49.35, and I'm going to escape 49. West 087, 00, and it was 10.78, so I'm going to enter 11. This program has a nice feature. If you want to actually see these waypoints in Google Earth, you can just highlight the ones that you want to see and click on the little Google Earth icon. And we can see if we got it right. As you can see, my catfish 1 is out in the main channel. My catfish 2 is at the entrance to Catfish Basin. So after launching way up here somewhere, I'd run down the Blackwater River to right about this point here and run down the channel, staying within the channel markers to this point here. I take a left and pull up this other waypoint and work my way very slowly into that because all this water in there is very shallow. And there are some sticks sticking up to let you kind of guide the way, but you can't see them until you get close. To give you an idea of distance, from this point to that point is 2.71 miles. And from this point to that point is almost a mile. I want to show you something else now. Suppose I launch my boat way over here on this bayou here and run out and go all the way to the bridge. What I like to do is establish waypoints also at the entrance to these little bayous. I primarily launched in the bay here and here, and sometimes I'll launch over here on this little bayou here. But if I'm fishing out here on this bridge and I want to hit this bayou at the mouth, just running straight to it, and let me see how far that is. That's probably about 4.5 miles total. And sometimes that's important. I don't fish at night anymore, but in the past when I fished at night, I would establish waypoints on buoys. If I were fishing the pass at night for redfish, I'd want to, and I launched in one of these bayous here, I'd establish a waypoint right along here, and then another one offshore of this bayou there, so that I just look at my GPS and follow the route that it shows me, and I get home safely.
The last step in my process was to upload my data points to my GPS, which I've already done. That wraps up this video. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if so, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so.